So as Vicky said, my name's Che Neal. I'm the President of Animal Liberation Queensland. And as most of you also be aware, it was a few years ago now that we covertly filmed the horrific practice of live baiting being performed by quite a number of greyhound trainers just 20 minutes from here at a private training track. This footage aired on Four Corners just over 2 years ago now, along with footage Animals Australia collected from New South Wales and Victoria. The backlash was absolutely unprecedented, both publicly and politically. High-profile government inquiries and promises followed in most states around Australia, and even the Premier of New South Wales attempting to ban the cruel industry. But I'll come back to that. So what's changed here in Queensland since the inquiry? Well, 37 trainers have been charged with live baiting offences, and I'll give full credit to the work of the Joint Police Task Force that has been chasing down and prosecuting these criminals. However, 4 of these charges were dropped, and not one of these has yet faced jail time. Not even Tom Noble, the man at the centre of the live baiting scandal in Queensland. Luckily, there is an ongoing appeal in that case, so we hope justice is served. But worse still, it appears that his wife still owns greyhounds and recently reportedly won $70,000 in prize money at the greyhound races. And out of the 37 who were charged, only 22 have been banned for life, and 13 have now had their bans reduced or thrown out. Does this sound like a government and an industry that's serious about cracking down on criminals who commit animal cruelty? The fact that live baiting's been going on for decades and that cases were still being discovered of people live baiting many months after the scandal broke suggests to me that the practice is still likely taking place on private properties around the state today. In fact, we understand there was may have been a case of live baiting in New South Wales reported just yesterday. So what about wastage? That's been one of our biggest concerns the whole time, has been the killing of healthy dogs, including pups that never make it to the track. They estimated 17,000 dogs killed around the country each year. Well, some small steps have been taken, which is great and will result in many lives saved. The Q Greys breeding incentive scheme, money paid just to breed more dogs, that's been abolished, and a small levy put in place to assist GAP, the industry rehoming program. But the government also promised to implement several other recommendations from the inquiry. A registration fee that would assist the costs of rehoming the dog at the end of its racing life. Well, 2 years on, still in progress. They also promised to have a publicly accessible database that lists all greyhounds born, whether registered for race or not, and track them through their entire lifetime and into retirement. 2 years later, still in progress. And as Vicky mentioned earlier this morning, the QRIC has admitted that 40 dogs killed each month just in Queensland, mostly perfectly healthy dogs. But this is just the official figure, and without the full transparency of the public database we've been promised, there really is no way of knowing if we've seen any meaningful reduction from the 17,000 greyhounds killed every year around the country. Of the recommendations the government promised to implement, 24 of these are still outstanding or in progress. It's been 2 years since the live baiting scandal broke and the spotlight thrown on this industry. How many more years do they expect us to wait? Now, looking interstate, as most of you know, last July we had the historic announcement by the then New South Wales Premier, Mike Baird, to ban greyhound racing in that state. I was in ecstatic disbelief when I saw the breaking news first pop up on my phone, and then equally disappointed when he buckled under pressure just a few months later and backflipped on that decision. Sadly, the backflip will now make it much harder and politically difficult for any Premier to have the courage to come up to ban greyhound racing in the future. But I want to remind everyone, we've still come such a long way. 5 years ago, when Animal Liberation Queensland started campaigning on this issue, having the New South Wales Premier announce a ban in the entire state and all the inquiries and prosecutions and public awareness we've seen over the last couple of years, that wasn't even imaginable back then. When we started out, we were just trying to stop a new track going ahead at Slacks Creek in Logan, just 20 minutes south of here. And I'm pleased to say, after a long-run community campaign with many locals and many of the rescue organisations and others, including many of you here today, we won. It took over 5 years, but it was a great victory. Now, Meanwhile, over in the United States, our colleagues at Grey 2K USA formed in 2001 with a mission to shut down greyhound racing in America and now focus worldwide. Now, they haven't won yet, but in 16 years of operation, they've seen more than 24 dog tracks closed, greyhound racing made illegal in 40 states, and gambling declined by 70%. Now, I say this to remind us that we need to stick at it. While we've got some way to go here to close down this industry completely, and it may still take some years, we've come so far already and we will win. I look forward to standing up here in a few years' time, or whenever that may be, and celebrating with you all when this industry has been shut down. Thanks again for coming today. Let's keep up the fight. It's so important that we continue to exercise our voice and don't let this issue die off and fall off the political radar. Not until greyhound racing is shut down for good.
Thank you, Jay. Yay. Fantastic.